Welcome to Creating Stuff. My name is Jim and welcome to my shop. Today's episode, I am back working on my Inferno truck. The last video I did was on my winch system that I had a lot of good comments and people really liked it. Thank you very much for watching that video. And if you like that one, stick through. Please hang around to the next video. I'm going to do another winching, a demonstration of the winch setup. I still need to come up for a name of this winch setup. I'm thinking like a triple action winch. I don't know. I'm working on that. Any suggestions, I would appreciate it. So anyways, but I have had some other work done to Inferno. I'm going to show you what I did off camera, and then I'm going to show you what I have in store for you today. So let's get into it. All right. In this off camera, I actually installed my hydro assist steering, which I've been fighting a couple different leaks on the steering box. I don't know if I still have or if that was just residual. I cleaned it off. Hopefully I got it. But I had trouble steering the 40s, so I knew this was going to come. So I mounted a hydraulic cylinder on the tie rod, and then I ran the hydraulic lines up the track bar to the steering box. Unfortunately, those mounts are 3D printed and they're zip tied. I'm waiting for some materials to come in so I can make permanent ones out of aluminum. But that's not in this episode. You won't get to see that. And then, of course, this is where the lines come up the track bar up into the steering box. And the reason there's actually, each line actually has 3 separate lines to it, because I have a lower flexible, upper flexible, and I got a hard line in between. And part of the reason I did that is because if any of the hoses get damaged, it's going to be either ends is going to get damaged. So basically, I can replace. So if this gets damaged here, I can replace a 2-foot section of hose versus an 8-foot section of hose. So when I make a repair in the middle of nowhere, that will save my materials and hopefully make it a little bit easier. So, but. And then I also had to upgrade the pump. I got a higher pressure and volume pump, higher reservoir, and I do plan to put a power steering cooler in it. I just haven't done it yet. I've got other stuff I got to do first. So that's all the stuff. That's got you up to date. So the hydraulic assisted steering is hooked up. It's working. Still might have a leak or two I got to deal with. I'll see how that turns out. But anyways, but now onto what I plan to do for this episode. So hang on, let me go grab something. I'll be right back. Now for this episode, what I'm planning on doing is I'm doing a hack for my air operated locking differentials. I use ARB Air Lockers. There are other makes of air operated locking differentials on the market. So technically the hack that I have for these can work for any air operated differential there is. Like I said, I like it. Like I said, it gives a lot more information and it works very well. So tell you what, and before I get into how I'm going to do this to Inferno, let me take you over to Big Red, because what I'm doing for Inferno, I've already done on Big Red a very long time ago, just not as clean and neat as I'm doing it for this one. So let me take you over to Big Red and let me show you what it is and how it works. All right, now I'm on the other side of my property underneath my carport. If anybody remembers this from a video that wasn't very much, I actually poured the concrete slab that I'm standing on. Had to move the carport, pour the slab, to move the carport back. Very happy with this. This is my makeshift paint booth for future use, you might see. But over here, this is where Big Red lives. Keep Big Red covered up. So let me show you what I got going on. Now, basically, this is my switch panel, and basically, I just turned on my ARB air compressor. All right, I have air pressure. So now the one thing I want you to notice is I have a little green light right here. So I'm going to press a switch for my front diff. Green light comes on. The green light comes on. That tells me that my front differential is locked. And I'll unlock it, light goes out. Lock it again, light comes back on. Basically is very simple. I put an air pressure switch in the line, so it gives me an indicator light to tell them, just so I can verify that I have air pressure and the front diff should be locked. So and now let me pop the hood and I'll show you how I made it work. Now I'm on the underside of Big Red, or under the hood I should say, and basically I want to point out, if you can see right there, right there is actually a pressure switch, and I just have a T connector. All it is pipe threading with Teflon tape and a couple compression fittings, and I put that pressure switch in line with the air line for the front differential. So it works very simple. When there's air pressure on the line, it flips the switch and it turns the light on. So that actually works very well. So tell you what, let me head back over to the shop at Inferno and I'll show you what I have planned for this episode. Now, you may be wondering why do I need to have an extra pressure switch and an extra light or something like that for the air lockers? I press a switch and that should be good enough, right? Well, here's what it is because there's a few ways that an air locker can fail, and put it this way, people that argue against air lockers, they pull these up all the time, and I'll be honest, I don't really see them as much of an issue, but it can happen. And put it this way, I've been running air lockers in Big Red for close to 25 years. The front diff in Big Red is actually the original RD01, the very first model of air locker that they came up with. That's actually I don't want to say the worst design, but it's the weakest, worst design, and I've had zero issues out of it. It works phenomenal. But in those 25 years, I have had 3 failures. So it is, but they're very simple. The first failure I had was the wires on the pressure switch for the compressor, which control when the compressor turns on and shuts off. The spade terminal fell off, and I was in Tellico Plains, Tennessee, 4-wheeling a long time ago, and I'm sitting there pushing the button, and it's like, why am I working so hard? And it was like I'm locking my diff in, and turns out I had no air pressure and I never heard the compressor come on because I couldn't hear it. So once I started investigating, I found the wire fell off, put it back on, compressor came on, front diff started working again. Once again, if I had the indicator light, I would have known that the front diff was not locked in. I would have known right off the bat I had no air pressure in that airline. So another failure, I've ripped an airline out one time, and that's just straightforward. I just had to replace a fitting, put it back on. I was good to go. And then once again, I was hitting the button, I was hitting the switch, and wondering why I'm spinning tires. I was like, I should be locked. Did I break an axle? And if I would have had the light telling me that I had no air pressure, I would have known it right off the bat. And the truth is, on ripping airlines out, the biggest thing is if you run them correctly, you don't have an issue. The way I ran them on Inferno, they're kept tight. They're actually retained in the upper control arms. So, like I said, it should be very difficult to rip a line out on Inferno, but it can happen. And then the last failure I had, actually the air locker failed where it would not unlock. And basically what happened was, the rear air locker on Big Red, the actual air control valve actually froze. So once I engaged it, once it got air pressure, I could not, it would not release, it would not exhaust the air pressure. And the only way I could do, I'd have to manually unhook the air line from the valve to bleed the air off, hook it back up, and then, like I said, it would unlock. And then once I locked it in, it would stay locked in until I bled the pressure off the line manually by taking the line off. So the worst part about that was when I was driving around on asphalt road with a rear differential locked in, that was a little hard to turn. So like I said, that was miserable. But anyways, those were in 25 years, those were the 3 failures I've had with air lockers. I know there's been others, but I wheel my trucks pretty hard. I've wheeled a lot. And like I said, those were the only 3 failures I've had with air lockers. But the biggest thing I like about it is that I like having the indicator light, so I have that more information. So if I hit the switch and the light does not come on, I know I don't have air pressure. So, but then the other side of it is, if I hit the switch and the light comes on, I know I have air pressure. And so then there might be something else wrong, where I could have an internal issue inside the locker, not letting it lock in. I could have a broken axle shaft or something worse. So, but once again, I like having that little bit of information. Really helps me figure out very quickly where my problem is, or if I have a problem. So, so tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and dive into what I have in store for Inferno, and I am going to get to work. So let's go. All right, and also part about this episode, all this disaster up in here, all this wiring and stuff like that, all of that stuff is going to get taken care of this go around. I'm actually going to put a auxiliary fuse block assembly to power all this extra stuff, and that's going to get taken care of at the same time. So, but basically the nice thing is, on this particular model with the Dana 60 air lockers, is this is just standard 1/4-inch plastic airline. You can get this at any Napa, any truck shop that works on tractor trailers. Is very, very commonly used. So the original air locker in Big Red, it uses a metric size airline. I can't remember, but there's an American size. You have to work to squeeze it in there to get it to fit. It's a little more difficult, but this is actually very straightforward. And so now what I did is I actually made this. Basically, this is just a manifold block. I can put a push lock air fitting on either side, and then I can tee in with the actual pressure switch to actually control the light. This looks a lot nicer, and actually I plan to upgrade Big Red. I'm going to make another one just like this for Big Red, and because I like how this turned out. It looks nice. And for people who want to say there's better and cheaper ways to do it, and I can buy this, I can buy that, well, guess what? I can use pipe fitting out of a hardware store cheaper than anything. So there you go. Have a nice day. So, but anyways, so now, and I will at some point, I think I don't know. I'm thinking about throwing some just a quick time lapse to show you, because I actually machined this on my milling machine. I might go ahead and show you a time lapse of me machining this, going from a solid block of aluminum to this. So anyways, so I'll tell you what, let me cut to that, and then I'm going to get to work, and I'll bring you back when I have something to show you. Alright, now I'm going to show you a time lapse of how to turn this into this. I hope you enjoy it. So here comes the time lapse. I got my manifold mounted down. Everything's all sealed up. I've got the push locks. I got all the air lines put in. And pressurized leak check works, does not leak. So that's good. I'm very happy with that. Before I explain the wiring, I have to put this fuse block in and deal with all of that bird's nest. So I'm going to get that taken care of, and when I get up to setting up the indicator lights, I'll bring you back and tell you how I do it. Alright, I got a couple hours in. It's actually kind of late on a Sunday evening. It's one of those things. It was nice. You get in a groove and you just keep working. To me, that's my moment of zen. That's my happy place. So anyways, I'm going to show you what I got and where I'm going from here. Alright, this looks a lot better than what it did before. So, because I added a sub fuse panel. Basically, this is going to be, right now, the only things that are on this are my air lockers and my sequential shifter. This relay right here is basically wired to the ignition, so when the ignition comes on, this gets powered up. So, that's just a typical way that things are wired, but like I said, just central, and I'm going to have other systems that I'm going to tie into this as well. So it's nice because it actually has its own ground bar on there as well. So, but all this looks a lot better, a whole lot better. Still not 100% there. I still got, like I said, this is still a very long project. And if you want to know what I'm planning on putting right here, you got to subscribe to the video and come back and see what I put there, because I'm not going to tell you right now. So, but there's my manifold block with my pressure switches, and I've already run some wires, and I haven't done anything inside the cab yet. But I just want to touch base with you, or I just want to do a quick explanation on how to wire these up and how I'm going to do it. So I tell you what, give me 1 second. Hopefully I can make some sense of this for you. All right. I'm kind of a low budget production. You know what that stuff is for? I don't know how to answer that one, but that was some other stuff I was working on. Not for now. So, you know, low production value. I'm a one-man band, so rather than taking all the time to figure out how to do this, I'm doing it this way. This is a simple way on how Big Red is wired. Is because you start with your battery positive, make sure you run it through some sort of fuse, and then basically you have your pressure switch right here. You run it to the common, and then this is the normally open, and then you run it to light bulb, and then the light bulb goes to ground. So when there's pressure, it closes the switch, the power comes through the switch, turns the light on. Very simple. That's how Big Red is set up. But I'm going to do Inferno a little different, because I'm actually going to cheat. So, because basically what I'm going to do is the little ARB lights in the switch, I'm going to use those because they actually get power from, when you turn the switch on, they get power from the switch, and then they rely on a ground, so so the light bulb comes on. So what I'm going to end up doing is, so this is the light bulb inside the ARB switch, and it has 12 volt positive coming to it when the switch comes on. So this is going to a ground. So what I'm going to do is the same pressure switch. This is the normally open. This is the common. Wire that. This comes down to air pressure. This is your air pressure switch. And then take the common, come down to a ground. So basically, by controlling the ground, when I turn the switch on for the differential, when the air pressure builds up, the light will turn on. So more or less the two pressure switches I have, I ran a single ground wire, pigtailed it to both switches, and then the two individual switches have the wires that go to the individual lights in the switch. So tell you what, hope this makes sense to you. Now let's see if I can go tie all this up together in the truck. Alright, I apologize about the horrible lighting. It's what I got to work with right now. So it's kind of late at night. So anyway, so down here, these are my ARB switches. The ignition is on. So basically, turn the switch on. Let me turn the light off. Ah, there. So, so the compressor just turned on. And so basically these two lights right here, this is my rear diff, this is my front diff. And these little lights that light up ARB, I'm going to hack into those and I'm going to use those. So how do I do that? Well, I got to bring out my handy dandy power probe next. I got to go hook it up. I'll bring you back in a second. Alright, I'm back. I got my handy dandy power probe. The nice thing is, hot to ground. If you want to review how to use this, let me know in the comments. I'll make one. This is the best tool for doing 12 volts diagnostic. So now I got to find the ground wire. So basically, I think I got the right one. Yep, that's ground. And yep, so guess what? By hitting the ground on my power probe, I proved that I can control that light just by controlling the ground. So, tell you what, and then turn my light back on. And I've already run 2 wires back from my pressure switches. Red is for the rear diff, yellow is for the front. So let me put some terminals on them, hook them up to the back side of the switch, and see how this turns out. Alright, I am ready to do a demonstration of it. And to do this demonstration, you're going to notice right here I pulled the wire off of the pressure switch of the air compressor. So I did this so there's no air in the system, and just to show how this works. So let's go inside the cab of the truck. Alright, now you see here I have the air compressor switched on. Now I'll hit the rear diff, and okay, the light did not come on, and the front one, and it shouldn't, because I have no air pressure in the compressor because I disengaged it. So now I'm going to leave you, I'm just going to have the rear diff selected, and now I'm going to go plug the pressure switch back in for the air compressor, and you'll hear the compressor come on, and you'll see that light come on when it gets air pressure. So hold on. Alright, and you saw that light come on, so that means you heard the compressor come on, and then you saw the light come on. So that tells me that I have a rear diff locked in, and then I have a front diff locked in. So so that works very well, and it was nice how I could actually reuse the lights inside the switches. So I like that. So that's turned out, I'm very happy with that. Now I just got to clean up a little bit of wire and finish it up. Well, I'm going to go ahead and bring this video to an end. I hope you got some good ideas or some information. My hack for air lockers, having an indicator light, whether they're locked in or not, I really like it. I've been running that for a long time in my other truck, and I really like it because I know I have a good peace of mind that when I hit that switch, that diff is locked in. And then if the light doesn't come on, then I'm going through my head, okay, what problems can I work through? And it makes that process a lot faster than not having it. So good information. I really like this hack. So anyways, so with that being the end of this video, if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel. I should have some good stuff coming up soon. The next video, hopefully, I'm going to do a demonstration of the guideline feature of my winch setup. So I think that will be interesting. Hopefully it works. But the only way you're going to find out if it does is you got to come back. So tell you what, it's been fun. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much. And until the next time, be creative.